Welcome to the Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire.
What up? Welcome to the Waiver Wire, where fantasy players become fantasy legends. We have a special guest today. Finally have a third person, and the mic's over there. Sativa, you go over there and you speak up anytime that you want to bring up something.
We have a mascot.
And if you're thinking this is one of my 5 dogs, it is not. This is Dannon's new puppy. That is the cutest little fucking thing. And
she just wanted to come on camera and bring y'all joy today.
Yeah.
She wanted a little cuteness.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the cutest that this show's ever been. And I love it. I love it. She's so cute. And loves it. Yeah, my lady's coming up to see the cutie too. Okay, so but we had a good week of football. I actually watched most of the games this week. I was off Sunday and I watched a lot of the red zone, and there were some good games. There were some blowouts. There were some games that were like, oh shit, okay.
The Colts and Bills.
Yeah. Oh. And even games like Dallas and Kansas City that, I thought that was going to be like the best game of the week, but Kansas City kind of came out and thumped them early. It was pretty one-sided. Dallas was trying to make it interesting. They kept trying to fight back, but
they lost. CeeDee Lamb got hurt too, right?
And Amari Cooper went out too. Yeah. So they didn't have but I mean, they still had Zeke. You still thought. I still thought
Kansas City. I don't get them. I just don't understand.
Well, they've won 4 in a row, and now they're 7-4. They're at top of the division. I mean,
They're leading that division.
They're leading the division now. So
So everything's coming back to the mean.
Everything's back to normal. I think they're going to go on a little run here and win the next couple of games and definitely be all right and win their division. But is it a lot? But the AFC is so weird.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee. Okay.
Well, honestly, the team that's playing best right now has got to be the Colts.
I know, right? Holy shit! I know.
Fucked the Bills up in Buffalo.
Fucked them up. Their defense is good. That's the thing about Indianapolis.
Well, I think earlier on they were hurt.
Right. Darius Leonard was hurt, and so now they got him back, and so it's a whole different thing. But let's get into the week. So we can talk about New England at Atlanta. Man, I know it was a Thursday night game, which is a weird thing, but like this was impressive.
New England's a pretty solid team.
New England's solid.
Honestly, New England and Indianapolis might be the two
New
best.
England has been
AFC
playing probably,
teams.
now they lead the division. Now they're over Buffalo now. So
and the same thing though, they're playing solid fucking defense.
Playing really good defense. They are not relying on Mac Jones to, it's not that Mac Jones is throwing the ball, and he's pretty efficient. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and call him no Tom. This is the thing too. They're going to make the playoffs. They're a good team. It's about when the lights are bright. It's about when it's in the playoffs, when it matters in fucking the cold in January and fucking,
But that's why those two teams would be. You don't want to play them in the fucking playoffs because of their run game.
Yeah.
Shit.
Jonathan Taylor is fucking unbelievable, and honestly, they did. I don't think they had Damian Harris in this game.
Yeah, he did. He played.
Did he? They just spread it out
Stevenson,
so much.
He played. He was his concussion protocol. I think.
Oh, okay. Well, I just didn't see. There was like Kendrick Bourne touchdown. There was a lot of them just scoring at will, and 25-0 doesn't really. That game was over as it started.
Yeah.
Very beginning of the game, it was over.
What did you see that meme? It was like Atlanta was like, there was they can't come back and beat you if you don't even score or some shit like that. If you've never got the lead,
they did a thing that like not many teams have done, where they had every single quarterback on the roster get an interception. That hasn't been done, I guess, since like 20 years. So
who did that?
Atlanta did.
Yeah. Did Matt Ryan get hurt? Or something?
Matt Ryan, they sat at a certain point. I don't know if he got hurt or not.
So I picked up Matt Ryan in that Superflex league that I'm playing in because I have Stafford. He's my other quarterback, and I have Lamar Jackson, right? So I just needed a quarterback because it's the best thing to put in the Superflex. And the only one out there was Matt Ryan or fucking Mason Rudolph. And so I was like, I'll get fucking Matt Ryan, Nah, he scored like 3 points or something.
Yeah, he had a bad game. Yeah, and it's just so crazy that when was that Super Bowl? 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
Was it 17?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. It wasn't. The point is that it was not that long ago, and this team has dropped to the bottom of the league. Like they are one of the worst teams in the league. Just shocking how much. And how long does Matt Ryan have? How many more years of this?
He might. Shit. Would you be surprised if he retired next year? I mean, he just doesn't look that good.
I wouldn't be surprised. And if you're the Falcons, you've got to just go out there and just shop it and be like, listen, we're in the rebuild. We're obviously in a rebuild. I didn't think we were because we were just in a fucking Super Bowl, but we're in a rebuild now. Let's just shop him and see if someone will give us one first-round pick for Matt Ryan.
There's no way.
I mean, if you're a team that's desperate enough, if you're Washington and you're desperate, if you don't like anybody in the draft and you're the Detroit Lions and you're like, Jared Goff's not really the answer, and we maybe could, but the Lions, I can't come up with a scenario.
For Matt Ryan, a first-rounder?
I can't come up with a scenario.
That's probably what Atlanta wants.
I can't come up with a scenario, yeah. And he's still owed a lot of money, and I would probably bet that he either retires. I mean, the thing is, like, there are guys like Ben Roethlisberger and Matt Ryan. They should retire. It's over.
I guess if they got to pay you, if you're out there, you know, like
Big Ben. This has got to be Big Ben's last year, but for Matt Ryan, I don't know.
I would say they're pretty close, at least as far as like the way they look.
Yeah. And I don't think that it's. It's not all on Matt Ryan. Their defense is garbage, and they don't really have a running game at all. But
he's just so immobile.
He's so immobile, and his arm that used to be so impressive, we see that all over the league now. So I don't know. It might be it for Matt Ryan.
Probably caught up to
might be it for Matt Ryan. New England looked really good. They obviously covered the 6.5 point spread that they had on the road. They won 25-0. I got that right.
Oh yeah, I think that maybe I have to go back and forth every other week.
Yeah, was this not?
This one? Well, I don't think this one worked out quite as well.
Well, because I did great this week, so I went 9 out of 15. Now there were 2 of them that I covered the spread, so I guess technically in the Vegas world, I did win that bet. I would have won that bet, but so then that would have put me at 11 out of 15, which is good. These next 2, I don't think anybody. Vegas included, had this going on where Houston at Tennessee. Tennessee was 8-2. They were the number 1 seed. They had fucking thumped
This
Buffalo.
just goes to show you that if Tyrod Taylor would have stayed healthy, we'd be going to
that was a great little diving touchdown. I mean, I'll give you that, but I don't understand why we're winning this game. I don't understand. What are you doing? What are we doing?
I like Cully.
Is this for pride?
Our coach is for real.
Yeah, the coach did well, and the defense played a lot better. I say that's the bits that they showed of that Texans game. I was impressed with our defense. We've got like 4 picks off Tannehill.
We did get some turnovers.
Yeah.
There's a big 4th down play that we fucking stuffed them on. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, just impressive against a team that's been killing it. The Tennessee Titans have been the number 1. They've been the best looking team for a while now, and Houston came in there and thumped them, and it was awesome. I did not pick Houston.
I got that one right.
You got that one. All right.
Well, of course.
Not if you would have bet that way, you would have probably made a lot of money because I don't think there was a lot of people betting that Houston was going to win this game. It was a huge upset.
If you'd have bet Houston to win outright, I bet your odds
you would have
made retarded.
you would have made good money, and especially to cover that 10.5. 10.5 was a big number. Maybe that should have given me some pause, but wow, didn't expect Houston to come in there and win that game. Tennessee going forward, I mean, this might be the answer too, because the thing is, you're no Derrick Henry. Maybe these last couple of weeks, teams have been trying to figure out, like, okay, they're going to be more of a Ryan Tannehill team, and maybe we just laid the blueprint out for this is how you beat them. You know,
but AJ Brown got hurt too. I think he hurt his hand.
That's bad.
He came back in, I believe, and kept playing, but
they're going to New England this week, so that's tough. And New England's a 5.5 point favorite, so. Tough little couple of stretch.
Indy's got Tampa. Damn, this next week's gonna be cool.
Yeah, cool next week. And speaking of Indy, in this division of that, Tennessee has been, I thought, easily gonna win. Now I'm not so sure because Indy went to Buffalo and they fucking killed them.
They have such a big lead. They have like a 3-game because they won. True. They've already played twice, and Tennessee won both games.
I know. So and if Tennessee can beat Jacksonville and Houston again and just finish off the
that
division.
was one of the things that we were talking about, that they have to play. They get to play Houston again, and then they lost.
Yeah, and then they lost to Houston. Yeah, that's true.
So,
yeah, that's crazy.
I would be definitely worried if I was Tennessee, but I think we all knew their season was over when Derrick Henry.
That's true. You're not winning a Super Bowl without Derrick Henry. That's the facts. Yeah, and so, but
Indy.
Well, no, I mean, there's nobody I'd pick up on either side. I know that there's probably wide receivers for Tennessee that are going to come in for AJ Brown, but I don't try.
Yeah, it's like just monitor. I don't know how the extent of his injury.
The waiver wire is getting tough. Let me tell you that we were talking about that before. The waiver wire is getting tight.
Nico Collins, maybe, but they just don't. The volume's not there in Houston, and their offense isn't good enough to be picking up anybody.
No, they had some random guys score like DeAndre Carter. And
now maybe if AJ Brown is hurt and Julio comes off,
his numbers should go up.
His numbers should go up. Julio's out there.
Yeah. In waiver wires?
I think so.
Wow, that's crazy.
He just hasn't been playing. He hasn't done shit. So
he hasn't done shit. So I understand that you dropped him. Yeah, but it's a big name to be out there. That's wild. I mean, Tyler Boyd popped up in our waiver wire last week, and that was like whoa, what's somebody doing? I don't understand that. But hey, I dropped James Conner, so what the fuck do I know? Indianapolis at Buffalo, though. Wow, this one was shocking too. The Buffalo was a 7-point favorite, and fucking Jonathan Taylor just ran.
We talked about this last week, that this is going to be a proving game for both of these teams right here. Like, Buffalo was, the class of the AFC supposedly coming into this season, and they just got.
Definitely, we thought that they were going to win that division over New England easy. I mean, I did. I did not think that Buffalo was going to lose this division to New England. Now I don't know. They're losing right now. They're down a game, and I don't know. If you say New England wins that division, it's very plausible. I totally get it.
At this point in the season, you got to think that they will.
Yeah, absolutely.
If the trend continues,
Buffalo's got to come back. I think they do in this next week, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. But and there were moments for Buffalo, like the Stephon Diggs touchdown was nice.
But if I remember correctly, we looked it up last week, and New England and Buffalo haven't played each other yet.
Oh, that's right.
Because they still have 2 more.
So we've got some big games between them coming up, and if Buffalo can get back on track this next week, maybe we're all good in Buffalo. But I mean, they're both going to make the playoffs. Yeah. So
New Orleans should be a get right game.
Yeah, I think so, and Vegas does too. They're a 4.5-point favorite on the road. I think the Buffalo goes in there and they turn this around because they don't like the way they've been playing. Yeah,
but Jonathan Taylor, definitely the best player in fantasy right now.
I mean, yeah. If you're talking about next year for the number 1 pick, I think Derrick Henry's got to be in the conversation, and he might be in the conversation.
I would think so.
I mean, because the thing is that Austin Eckler's had a great year, and he'll definitely. I think he'll go a lot higher next year, but you can't. If people want to tell me that you're going to pick Christian McCaffrey again at number 1, what the fuck for?
I think that after this year, McCaffrey will slide to 3 to 5 ish.
Yeah. And Zeke was in that same conversation too, where it's like Zeke a couple of years ago, it was plausible that you were like, I'm going to take him number 1 because he was killing it. But now he's sliding back a little bit. Saquon's definitely got to slide back a little bit. So I see Jonathan Taylor being in that conversation of, I think I might take him number 1, and you're not wrong.
Well, so it'd be what? So it'd be Jonathan Taylor, Austin Eckler, Najee,
Derrick Henry. Alvin Kamara still could be in that conversation.
Maybe. They'll be skirting.
He's taking a step back too. Yeah. He's taking a step back too. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon, Alvin Kamara, all these guys that I told y'all were used cars. They're all taking I didn't think Jonathan Taylor was this. When I researched my draft going into this year, I did not think Jonathan Taylor was this. But the thing is that Frank Reich and the Indianapolis Colts coaching, they know what they are. They're not doing this like, oh, Carson Wentz has got to throw it 40 times a game. We're not going to let it happen.
Fucking offensive line. Yep. You just fucking let them boys loose.
Yep. And when they would cut to this game, it was really telling because like they would be in the red zone, and Indianapolis at one point wasn't up by 41. It was a closer game, and
they turned it on late because I remember watching it and it wasn't like they were winning.
Well, they recovered a fumble. There was a couple of big plays that kind of swung the game back in Indy. But anyways, what I saw was they're in the red zone. This is where I see a lot of teams nowadays that are forcing it with their quarterback. But if you have a running team, that's what they did. They got down there in the red zone. They were like, no. Carson's not going to turn this over for us. Jonathan Taylor is going to muscle his way. And we'll go 2 yards at a time. I don't care. Yeah, and we're just going to fucking get in there.
They were like, our big guys are better than your big guys, and we will move you.
So yeah, and Naheem Hines still is a good third down back that they bring in there to catch the ball sometimes. I'm impressed by Indy, and going forward, I'm not sleeping on y'all no more. I see what y'all are. Y'all are a really good team. So. But that being said, you got a tough test this next. I said that, and then I looked to see if I picked them, and then I went, oh shit, they're playing Tom Brady. Never mind. I take it all back. You're gonna lose.
This should be a good. I mean, next week,
great game. That's a great game.
Building, and if they beat Tampa,
that's a big win for them. Big win.
Fuck, dude. Yeah.
But nobody really out there on either side. Most of the people have been picked up on both of those teams. Dawson Knox had a better game. Doesn't matter because I started Derek Carr over Justin Herbert.
This is another.
I just like to lose, I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to lose. I'm trying to see how big in that loss column I can get. I have had 1,700 points scored against me. The next closest person is 1,500. So fuck me. But I hate fantasy
football. Again, like Josh Allen got outplayed. Like I have Jalen Hurts, and like I think I have to go look at it, but I think. If I'd have played Hurts over Allen this year, I think he's outscored him more weeks than he has.
I'm sure he's. I wonder what his ranking is. I wonder what Hurts' ranking is. Hey, look it up.
Pretty close.
Hey, Sativa,
what are you doing? Yeah.
So then we go Baltimore at Chicago. This was a sloppy ass game. Justin Fields is terrible.
He got hurt too.
Yeah, he got hurt, but he's just not the answer. And Andy Dalton came out there and threw a big
He's
bomb.
Number 5.
Okay, and Josh Allen
3.
Oh,
which is weird.
Josh has maybe had some big games.
Well, he had that 150-point game. I remember.
Interesting. Yeah, like when I look at the rankings, it's really weird because there are some like Najee is so consistent. That's why he's staying at number 4. But like you still have this other fluctuation of like Austin Eckler, and it's weird to think that. Consistency or the blow up weeks. What do you look? I'm having to change my whole mindset on drafting. Obviously, I cannot do what I did last year. So going into next year, I don't know. All right, am I looking for home run hitters or am I looking for consistency? I guess that's a big question. And on Baltimore side,
Jackson was ruled out.
Yeah, he got sick.
Yeah,
his pussy was sick. Hey. Shut the fuck up and get out there. You can fucking get out there with a runny nose.
I'm glad I woke up early and fucking checked because I had him in my lineup.
Woo! I bet you a lot of people did. I mean, he got ruled out late, so they brought in.
Fucking matter.
Who the fuck did they bring in? Some Hundley guy? I don't even know who the fuck their backup was, but he did all right. It was a sloppy game. It really wasn't a great game. Baltimore ended up pulling out the win, 16-13. So they did not cover the 6 points. I got that one right. Yeah, so I took Baltimore, but I was not right, I guess, with the Vegas.
Darnell Mooney had a good game.
Yeah.
But Andy Dalton's going to be starting this week.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, and you should just do that going forward. I don't know if Justin Fields is your quarterback of the future, but this season is lost. You're not going to fucking win. So what's the point? I mean, let Andy Dalton go out there and get crushed. Don't let Justin Fields go out there and destroy his confidence even more than it's already, because it's happening. His confidence is going down and down and down. You're not going to get this kid back or get him to be a winning quarterback.
Nagy gets fired, right?
God, right? God,
you would think, right?
I mean, we both think he's an idiot, but somebody
the one game that he missed,
yeah,
they played. That was their best game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't get what Chicago's plan is here.
I'm sure he's a smarter dude than I am, but
doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. They went up in this game. So Andy Dalton threw a big bomb. They went up, and it was like, oh my God, they're gonna win the game. I think they had like a minute and a half or maybe 2 minutes left, and they let Baltimore just fucking walk down the field. And it was like, and they kept going to Nagy, and it was like, he's like, oh man, it's like, yeah, bro, what the fuck? Y'all had this shit. Andy Dalton came out there and threw a fucking bomb. It was amazing. It was.
So Mooney might be available.
Yeah,
that was Rashad Bateman for Baltimore. Everybody's high on
I picked him up in the other league and started him. He didn't do very much, but it was a sloppy game.
Yeah,
and I think,
when Jackson comes back.
When Jackson comes back, I think he's a good start. Yeah, Bateman might be out there, but I think a lot of people scooped him up.
The trend should be that he starts getting more targets.
But then we go Detroit.
Devante Freeman.
He's on there. I put him on mine. Devante Freeman. I dropped him. I picked him up and dropped him. So you should go get him because he had a great game. And he has just dropped off of my team, so he's gonna kill it. Also, but we didn't talk about David Johnson. He had a better game, and I think we had a running back go out. I think one of our many running backs. I think we had one of them get injured. So David Johnson might come back and get a little more looks in this new vamped
if he gets more touches. And I know Houston's offense should be better with Tyrod back.
Yeah, and we got a good. I mean, we're playing the Jets this week, so we've got a good chance there. But yeah, Devante Freeman's a good pickup. Especially I dropped him, so that means he's going to do well.
He's about to win you a league.
Yeah, he's about to go off. Detroit at Cleveland. Ooh, man,
Detroit was so close.
Again, Detroit was so close, and Jared Goff went out.
Did he? Is that why? Yeah, fucking Hawkinson couldn't catch a ball,
and that's why their offense really they just flatlined after that.
Who's their backup?
Hoyle, some dude B Hoyle. I saw it today. He's out there on the waiver wire, but I actually I originally, because I'm always pulling for Detroit. They play on Thanksgiving Day. They play Chicago, and
Detroit might get a win.
No, but not now. Now there's no. I went back and erased.
So this is gonna be Andy Dalton versus some
Hoyle motherfucker on primetime Thanksgiving Day. Who gives a shit?
It's the first game.
Yeah, it's in the morning. It's the early one. Yeah,
nobody gives a fuck about that.
Might not be watching.
Yeah, we'll be eating.
Yeah, we won't be worried about that.
Oh wait, no, I'll be working.
Oh, will you? Oh man, yeah, but Detroit, man, God, I picked them actually. So in the Vegas world, I definitely won the because they had a 10-point. Cleveland was a 10-point favorite at home, which is outrageous, and I thought the points was too high, and I was right. They did not cover that 10 points, so I guess I was right there. But Baker, he got banged up again, but he came back. It's every week now.
Did you see? Apparently, like, he didn't talk to the press, didn't shake hands with anybody, didn't address his teammates.
The thing is, Baker has been getting criticism pretty much his whole. From college till now, like it's all the time. So I understand why he's probably like over it, but he just doesn't play well enough for me to back it up with like, he deserves.
He's definitely not a number one pick.
No, you know who he kind of reminds me of? Tim Tebow. He kind of reminds me of Tim Tebow in the fact that his arm is just not good enough, and he's a smaller guy. So, like, he's running around there, and he's got a lot of heart. I give it to Baker Mayfield. The guy's got a lot of heart. He gets hit. He gets back up. He probably shouldn't be out there. He looks like he's just not big enough to be out there. And
he throws the ball way better than Tebow did.
I guess.
Look at Tebow.
I guess.
Tebow is a fullback.
Tebow? But
although there
were some games, bro. That's my point. Is like I hear you, but then there were moments where Tebow would all of a sudden, and you're like, "Whoa, holy shit, where did this come from?" Well, I don't know.
But
if you had to win a game. You want Tim Tebow?
I want Tebow.
Yeah, you want Tebow, baby.
Hell yeah, I want Tebow.
You don't want Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield's just not it. And honestly, it's a weird year. They're 6-4 in that division. Who the fuck knows? You know, now Pittsburgh has a tie. So, and we have Cincinnati and Baltimore kind of battling out at the top. I could still see Cleveland sneaking into the playoffs, but it's gonna be a bad team that loses, and that's what I think of as Cleveland. They'll make the playoffs, but they're going to lose right away because they're not beating.
You think they're going to make the playoffs?
I don't know. It's going to be tight, especially now that Indy's come on, and
New England.
There's just too many teams in the AFC. It's just up in the. It's way too up in the air. It's going to come down to the very final weeks. Whereas I thought the weeks 17 and 18 would be just like, Kansas City's up by a mile, and Tennessee's up by a mile, and Buffalo's up by a mile. It's not going to be like that this year.
It's coming back.
It is not going to be like that. It's going to be tight in all those divisions. Every single division in the AFC is up in the air. We do not know right now, so it's going to be very interesting. And Cleveland, if let's say they string together some wins here, they're right there in it. They're 6-4. They're not. They're not a bad team.
There's a bunch of teams in the AFC that if you if you can go on a run,
absolutely,
you will make the playoffs.
Yep. And speaking of going on a run. these Minnesota Vikings are ready. No, I don't know about that. But
they finally won a close game instead of losing it.
Yep, and I picked them. I picked Minnesota to win.
Yeah, I did too.
And
like every other one on this.
Green Bay, they've been on a run, and I kind of thought this is a divisional game. Minnesota's had so many close games. I thought they could pull this one out, and they did. They looked really good. Your boy Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, he went off. I didn't think I was going to have a chance in that game because he had the dude I was playing had Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, okay.
And then I only lost by 20. But he also had
Justin Jefferson was not the reason that you lost.
No. And Chubb played well. Jefferson played well. I had somebody, McLaurin, I think, had a
Justin Jefferson might be one of the ones that sneaks into the conversation next year of like, should I do this in the first 2 rounds? Like
he should probably be a late first round, early second round.
As far as receivers go, I'd say it's still probably Devante Adams and Tyreek Hill and DeAndre Hopkins above him.
I don't think.
Well, he's been out too much this year, but as far as like receivers go, Justin Jefferson has put his name. What in the fuck is going on? Are we trying to climb these stairs? Who's trying to climb these stairs? You better stop it. I have never ever. This puppy has caused my puppies to be crazy. My puppies, the entire time we've lived in this house, have never tried to climb these stairs, and I heard paws trying to figure out these stairs, and I think it's the husky, and she needs to stop it. Okay, but where were we? Minnesota. Minnesota, their defense is not great, and they gave up 31 points, and I don't have them winning a playoff game, but they're a scrappy team. I think,
well, they've been in every game, I think, that they've played this
they've
year.
had so many heartbreaks.
And lots of close losses.
Yeah.
Lots of overtime games.
And, without Aaron Jones and just having A.J. Dillon, the Packers they need that Aaron Jones. They need that running game because you figure them
players.
out. Yeah. And Valdez-Scantling had a great game, and maybe going forward that might be trending upwards. Everything that I put over here on the waiver wire, though, is it's so question mark. I wouldn't feel great about starting Valdez-Scantling, but maybe if you're in a bind.
The problem with any other Green Bay receivers that you just never fucking know.
And Devontae Adams is going to get the looks, but you don't know.
His.
Is Randall Cobb going to get the second most today? Is Valdez-Scantling? Is Allen Lazard? So, yeah, it's tough with Green Bay. But Minnesota, man, good job. And I got that one right. Minnesota over Green Bay, 34-31. Then we go to Miami at the Jets. I appreciate you, Red Zone, for not really showing me this.
You didn't have to watch it.
They would show me the touchdowns, but then the rest of the time they were like, let's get back to these other good games. They're starting to realize what the good games are, and so they're like, we're gonna stick with this right now. And this was not one of them. This was a very sloppy game between both of them.
Did Zach Wilson play?
Yes. Actually, no. It was Joe Flacco. It was Joe Flacco. It was Joe Flacco.
Oh, Mike White got hurt.
Yeah, Mike White's hurt, and I just don't think they want to put that.
Wilson's supposed to come back.
But the season's over too, and I think the Jets are at least smart enough to go, well, let's go get another good pick again. We can try to get somebody. Are they smart? I don't know. I don't know if losing's the right way to go. I don't know if trying to win's the right way to go. For my Houston Texans, I want you to lose every fucking game coming up because I want the best pick that we can get. But I don't know.
We'll get like the 7th pick.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
we'll win just enough games
to fucking fall out of the top 5 and not get one of the guys that could actually change our team. Yeah. But Miami came out there and they got the job done, 24-17. Elijah Moore is a guy that we talked about last week, and he killed it again. Jalen Waddle did great.
How'd your boy Gesicki do?
I think probably great. I don't know. I can't. I don't look because I don't want it to hurt me. But I'm sure he did good. Myles Gaskin, I have him in the other league, and he's solid. It's not blowing up, but he's consistent every week. So But yeah, sloppy ass game. Yeah, and Miami again getting a win is like, okay, sure, yeah, y'all. They beat us, they beat the Texans, and they beat the Jets here, but they are not a good team. Not a good team. And I don't even know who played. I think it was Tua actually. I think it was
Tua did play. Yeah.
I think it was Tua, but who gives a fuck about those two teams? Those are both bad teams. So, and then we went New Orleans at Philly. New Orleans, the 29, that wasn't until later. That wasn't until it was pretty much. It was Philly all day. Philly just fucking kicked their ass.
Hurts had a good game. I think he had 3 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, they ran all over them. They threw it to Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor with ease. New Orleans just with no Jameis and this Trevor Siemian kid, it's too obvious that you're just not good enough. They don't have the receivers.
No Kamara.
Yeah, and I put both of these receivers on here, Traquan Smith and Deontay Harris. But they're both question marks that I wouldn't be confident in at all. I mean, you don't know what you're going to get out of New Orleans. And I think both of them probably did okay with garbage time. I think Harris scored a touchdown, or maybe it was Smith that scored a touchdown. But it's in garbage time. It's not something you would feel comfortable starting.
Yeah.
I don't like New Orleans going forward. I think New Orleans.
Trevor Siemian is top 3, the 3rd best quarterback over the last 3 weeks.
Really?
In fantasy.
Well, if it was from this week, it was, I'm telling you, because they kept going to this game to show Philly highlights. And
then it was all junk time. It's just all junk time.
Yeah. So if that's what it is, then yeah. And I mean, if you're in a bind and you want to do that going forward, although I don't think, I mean, they've got Buffalo coming to New Orleans, but I think Buffalo's is fired up and they're going to want to prove a point. They should be.
They better be.
They need to be, because if not, New England's going to win this division.
Miles Sanders came back. Philly apparently is going to run the ball.
And Kenneth Gainwell's touches pretty much went out the window with that.
I don't think he played this game.
No, yeah.
I think he was a healthy scratch, honestly.
Okay. But 40-29. Philly was just a 1.5 point favorite. I hope that Philly starts to get a little more respect from Vegas, because I think Philly's not a bad team, man. No. They're not bad. And
Hurts is playing really well.
In the NFC, the thing is that you've got your division leaders that are pretty much going to stay there, and then you've got the Rams and the Cardinals. But you've got those 2 positions that Minnesota and Philly can probably sneak into, and I think Philly definitely will sneak into the playoffs in the NFC. I really do, because San Fran, I don't buy San Francisco. I know they got this win over Jacksonville, but I don't buy them. But then we go Washington at Carolina before we jump to San Francisco. Josh, Washington. Well, they can't make up their mind.
Yeah,
they don't know who the fuck they are.
Right.
Like,
they're kind of weird.
Terry McLaurin is awesome, and if we're talking about adding people into that list that we were talking about before, Terry
if he had a
deserves
good quarterback.
If he had a good quarterback,
be top 5.
Yeah, it's true.
And wide receivers.
Yeah. But if they could have figured out a way to pry Aaron Rodgers away from the Green Bay Packers and put him on that Washington football team, they're a fucking killer team. You get any good quarterback on that Washington team, they're a great team. Because that Taylor Heineke kid is good, but he's just, it's like Baker Mayfield. It's like, bro, you shouldn't be here.
He's just,
yeah. In Carolina, Cam came out and he had a nice rushing touchdown. He threw one to Christian McCaffrey. He looked good.
Fantasy wise, he played.
He looked good. He looked good. Their defense gave up stuff and they couldn't come up with a final drive. And I feel bad for Carolina, but I also feel like, what were we really going to get out of this team this year?
Come on, beat Washington at home, or
Yeah, you should have won this game. They were a 3-point favorite. They lost. I got this one wrong. I said Carolina was going to win. Carolina's a weird team. This is a weird game because both of them can't really decide who they are. But Christian McCaffrey looked better, and if going forward Cam and him can figure it out, I think they can win some games. They have Miami next week. I think that's definitely a winnable game for them. So we'll see. We'll see what Carolina does going forward. But Washington, now they're like 3-7 or something, and it's like, what the fuck is that point here, right? Yeah. It's another one where I'm like, why are y'all trying to win games? You guys should be trying to get. That should be the team that's looking for that number 1 pick. We just need our quarterback. If we can go into this next draft and pick from the quarterbacks that are there and say, okay, he's our guy, then that's what you should be doing. What the fuck are you doing? I don't get it. But Curtis Samuel, I think, is out there in most leagues, and I know that he had a better game. I think he scored a touchdown, but it's still the Terry McLaurin show, and I don't really. And Logan Thomas hopefully is coming back. I have him in the other league, and he's been on the IR for fucking 10 weeks now. So hopefully he comes back. But I don't know if there's much out there that I would pick up on either side. I don't think there's much that I saw, and. San Francisco at Jacksonville. This was another weird game. San Francisco won, and Deebo Samuel went off again. And
he got a lot of rushes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Well, all their running backs are hurt, so they just said,
of course.
"Fuck it, we're gonna give it to
all the
Deebo."
running backs are hurt. There's something in the running back room at San Francisco. There's like there's a black plague in that room that's just cursed them, and they just cannot not be hurt. So, But San Francisco beat Jacksonville. Whoop de fucking do. I still don't see anything out of San Francisco that makes me go, "Oh yeah, they're ready." Like Jimmy G's not the answer, and they still haven't brought Trey Lance back. I think because they know. Well, there was no reason to in this game, but they know that
they're not going to play him much.
No, it's the Justin Fields thing is the wrong way to go here. Let Trey Lance sit behind Jimmy G. Let him learn the speed of the game. Let him come in every now and then, but he should not be starting right now whenever this team is not. I mean, they won this game, but I don't have San Francisco winning many more games in their division.
It's really going to go back to, I think we talked about this last week, that if San Francisco's defense plays the way they did,
and they beat up Trevor Lawrence. They were all over him, but I just don't. I don't know. They've got an interesting game this week of Minnesota, and I have them losing it. So I don't know. I don't know about San Fran.
Be a good test. If San Francisco can beat Minnesota,
and
they have a shot.
Ayuk is out there.
He's actually starting to play better.
Yeah, he's playing better.
Ayuk is out there still.
Yeah, and other than that, I mean, nobody on Jacksonville. Stay away from that dumpster fire. They are really showing their colors. They're not a good team. Nope. I don't know. I don't like San Francisco, even though they won. And then Cincinnati at Vegas. Man, this Bengals team, they make me mad because I'm like hyping them up. And then I won't start people on them, or I won't go full in on the Bengals, and then they come out and they look great. And then the Raiders, the same thing. It's like I've been shooting against them, but then this is the week where I'm like, you know what though? Derek Carr might get into a shootout. I'm going to put Derek Carr in because fuck you, Justin Herbert is so inconsistent. I don't know what I'm going to get from him. He's either 50 points or he's 14 points, or it's like, ugh. I shouldn't have done it. Fuck you, Derek Carr. Fuck the Raiders. I knew you guys sucked. And the Cincinnati came out and thumped them, man. It was, I think, the Raiders went down and scored. They like went back and forth, and so it looked like it was going to be like a close game. But then Cincinnati just turned it on them and just beat them up. All the receivers did well on Cincinnati too. Like Tyler Boyd even had a much better game.
What's happened to Jamar Chase, man? He kind of disappeared. Huh?
Well, he's not having the 30, 40-point games that he used to have. But I think he's still
deciding to like.
I think he's still got double digits in there. I think he got like 12 points or something like that. But yeah. It's not been the same, but he's still their go-to guy. I think maybe teams are starting to focus a little more on him. Maybe they're doubling him,
over the top. Like
maybe that's what's going on. But Cincinnati's a very weird team. They don't know who they are. The Raiders don't know who they are. Yeah. And that leaves them in this weird AFC. Who the fuck knows? I mean, I don't know who's going to win that division. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Who the fuck knows? We don't know. Nope. And Cincinnati was a 1-point favorite, and they won 32-13. They really beat the fuck out of them there at the end too. Joe Mixon got a late touchdown, and Joe Mixon looks good too. You know, that's the thing is that they're not just relying with the games that they look really good in. They have Mixon go out there, they have Samaje Perine go out there, and they look a lot better with that. So, I think Cincinnati going forward, I'm going to be high on because I was at the beginning of the year. I was like, these Bengals are for real. I'm going to stick to my guns and say Cincinnati's for reals. But Raiders, I see it going the other way.
Well, I think that it's finally, the first few weeks after Gruden got fired or resigned or whatever the fuck he did, I thought they would go downhill quickly but they did the different. They played really well the first few weeks, and we're like, well, fuck,
maybe they're gonna do this without him. But now it's like, now I'm not into it. Now, fuck Derek Carr forever for what happened to me this week. I should have never done it. Yeah, so pretty. I'm gonna cut him. I think just to not even have a second quarterback, not to give me an option to be a fucking tinkerer.
You don't
tinker. Yeah, I'm not gonna give myself that option to ruin myself again.
Did you ever go watch the league? That shit's so
I should. I need
it's
to.
Hilarious.
I need to.
The first few seasons are hilarious, and then it gets stupid.
But that was a weird game, and I really thought it was going to be a shootout. I thought it was going to be a closer game. It was not. Cincinnati beat the fuck out of them.
A lot of road teams won this week.
Dallas at Kansas City. Man, I thought the way that Dallas had been playing, I thought the way that Kansas City's kind of been up and down, and their offensive line was not good, and I thought Dallas would be able to get to him, and Kansas City came out and they looked good. Yeah. They looked good. They went Travis Kelce. My guy Clyde Edwards-Helaire came back, got 15 points on all my benches, on my bench on the other team, on my bench on this. I mean, I couldn't start him. I didn't know who the fuck he was gonna, know.
Who knows what kind of touches he was gonna get?
And I don't even know going forward if I can trust him. It's like, this is great, but
you need to see a few more weeks of consistency.
Yeah, there's not a few more weeks left though.
That's true. Yeah.
It's almost over. So thank God it's almost over. I am so excited.
Just watching football,
now we can just watch football and not be fucking. Well, this guy did good and this guy did great, and I started Derek Carr because I'm a smart man. But Kansas City, they've won 4 in a row. They're winning their division now. Seems like they're back on track. Their defense has been playing really well. Chris Jones being back has changed them, and they're really, they got after Dak. They did not let Dak do anything. And Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb both went out, and so they didn't really have a lot of options. But
then what's his name?
Michael Gallup,
and then what's the other guy?
Wilson.
Wilson actually had.
Wilson's out there in a lot of the waiver wires. Gallup has probably been picked back up, and because we all thought he would be a nice third option for Dak, and I say we because I picked him up in the other league, or maybe I picked him up in this league. I don't know, but either way, he did okay. He did not have a great game, but then again, Dallas had a bad game.
But if the top 2 guys are out, then Gallup and Wilson might be
it should go up, especially against worser defenses than Kansas City proved to be in this game, because Kansas City showed up and they showed out, and it was a good game from them.
Who's Dallas got next week? They're on Thursday.
They're on Thanksgiving. They've got the Raiders. So this could be the game that especially if both those guys sit. So on a short week, Arizona at Seattle. Seattle actually hung in there. This was a closer game than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, no Kyler Murray.
No Kyler Murray. No Hopkins. And Russell Wilson. He just doesn't seem like himself. He's not. He's
got to be hurt still.
Yeah, he's still banged up. They've lost Chris Carson for the year. Yep. They're receivers of Tyler Lockett that used to blow up. Now Russell doesn't seem like he has the confidence in throwing deep, or maybe teams have figured out like, okay, just don't let that motherfucker run behind us, and we just gotta kind of stop DK Metcalf.
Seattle's a weird team.
Seattle is a weird team. I actually went back and looked, and I did say that Seattle would be the worst in that division, so I got that right at least. But
so I got that going for me.
At least I said one thing that's right. But no, Seattle, they're gonna build themselves back up, and they obviously have their guy. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. Yeah. But it's weird because, where are they going to be in this draft? Where do they pick things up? They could go out there and maybe get free agents, but they've got a lot of money tied up in Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner and some of these other people. So they are a weird team. And Arizona is good, man. For them to come out here 3 weeks in a row, and I think in the 3 weeks he's been gone, they're 2-1 now without Kyler. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I would say Arizona gets Kyler back. They go on another little run like they did at the beginning of the year. Their defense is playing really well, and now they've got a bye next week, so Kyler can rest. Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins can rest up even more.
Didn't play in this game.
Yeah, they want him to be totally healthy.
Yeah. So then after he comes back, he'll have had 5 weeks off, and then Hopkins should be back after that.
Yeah, they should both come back healthy and strong and be ready to kick the shit out of their division. So.
And their offense will look a lot different when Hopkins comes back. Because he really opens up everything for everybody else.
Yes. But yeah, Arizona got a good win over Seattle in their division, and I don't know if Rondale Moore's still out there, but I think he had a better game. But Zach Ertz, man, if you had Zach Ertz just randomly when he was on Philly, because you were like, I don't know, maybe it'll be a good, and then he got traded, he really has appeared as a tight end one for Arizona, and I think he had a touchdown. I think he might have had multiple. He had a great game. I know Zach Ertz was the killer out of that game, and that was with Colt McCoy. So when Kyler comes back, I think it's going to be even better. And Arizona, top of the NFC right now. So, and I think it's going to stay that way. I think Green Bay loses a couple more games here and there, and I think Tampa Bay's got a tough schedule. So it's going to be hard for Tampa Bay to be the number 1 seed. I don't think that happens, but it doesn't matter. I mean, even if Tampa Bay, I don't give a fuck where Tampa Bay is at. They went on the road last year. They can do it again. It actually might fire them up if they, they're sleeping on us again. So, and we'll get to Tampa Bay on Monday. And if you are sleeping on my Tampa Bay, so nighty night. But the Sunday night game really, really was a kick in the dick. Really kicked me in the dick when I was down. I really just needed Najee to go off. I needed Claypool to do something. I needed some of these Steelers to show up, and I didn't know what Justin Herbert was, and I wasn't going to do it. So I set fucking Justin Herbert. The guy I'm playing as Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler goes the fuck off and scores 3 touchdowns. He has a great fucking game. He also had Mike Williams. So it's looking good. It's looking all right. Maybe I'll stick in it. Maybe I'm in it. Maybe I'm in it. And then the last play of the game is a 53-yard fucking touchdown. And listen, Herbert, as far as he threw the pick there at the end of the game, and he let Pittsburgh get back in it. He let Pittsburgh tie the game up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They tied it.
Yeah, they tied it. And then this was a miracle. Fucking
no, they were up.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Pittsburgh took the lead.
Pittsburgh took the lead, and then they had that amazing.
And then they did the bomb.
But yeah, Justin Herbert, fuck you. You're so inconsistent. I hate you, but you also did a great job. He got like 43 something fucking points.
He's very talented, and he'll put it all together. And in a couple years, we'll be talking about him being a top 5 fantasy quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know. He's got to run the ball more for me to see, because Josh Allen runs the ball, and so that's what makes him. And Jalen Hurts runs the ball. I mean even Mahomes.
So he can run. He's just not running this year for some reason.
He's not, and it's making these decisions that I have to make of who am I going to fucking start so difficult, because he's so inconsistent and he's not running the ball.
And this goes back to the whole point of why I think that the fewer teams, the harder it is, because you have to choose between 2 good fucking players. And it's so irritating.
Derek Carr's not a good player. You're a piece of shit.
Okay.
But you're right. Having so many options is hard, because then you start to play games in your mind where you're like, I mean, James Conner, I dropped James Conner because I thought my other running backs that I thought Josh Jacobs and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I thought these things were going to work out. And I was like, there's never going to be a moment where I'm going to start James Conner. I think Chase Edmonds probably has it over him. That's what I said earlier in the year, but I was just wrong. And in a 12-team or a bigger league, I would have just held him because there wouldn't have been anything out there for me to pick up, and it would have been like, nah, fuck it, let's just hold on to what I got. Yep. But I should hold on to what I got, and I shouldn't drop as quickly as I do. I'm way too quick to just.
That's that early season. You want to do shit.
Just fucking. Fuck it. I'm done with them. It's a bad look. Bad look. So Pittsburgh though, man, I cannot tell you how much I will not draft a Pittsburgh Steeler next year. If Najee's there for me, if I'm in the right place for Najee, I'll do it because I love him, and he is consistent. He's good as fuck. But the rest of the Steelers can go suck my dick from the back.
Deontay Johnson's good.
Yeah, whatever. I don't want anything to do with no Steelers going forward next year. Fuck you, Chase Claypool. Fuck Juju if he comes back. I'm done with all the Steelers until they find a new quarterback. Mason Rudolph ain't it. Ben Roethlisberger didn't even play, but yeah, Mason Rudolph's not the answer, and so they got to go find another. This has got to be it for Ben. This has got to be. I mean,
you would think
he can't play next year.
I'm surprised he played this year, honestly.
Pittsburgh honestly shouldn't let him. or not with them. They should say,
It's just
you're done.
odd to me
You're done here.
that these teams don't try to get these replacements
Earlier,
before
right?
the
I know.
end of these
It's weird.
careers.
It is weird. It is weird. You're right. How has Atlanta, even last year where they were in the draft, why didn't you just think, fuck it, let's draft Matt's replacement? It's coming. We got to get a replacement for him.
Everybody crucified fucking Green Bay for doing it.
Yeah, but
yet,
yeah. And even if it doesn't work out, let's say that you saw Jordan Love come out and he didn't look great.
He looked terrible.
But listen, at least you tried. At least you have that option.
you keep doing it until you get one.
Look at what Davis Mills is. You know, like when you don't have that and now your guy goes out, it's like, oh no, we literally don't have a quarterback now. I mean, some teams have been lucky that they've been able to pass Colt McCoy and Case Keenum and stuff like that around, but having a good backup quarterback or having that guy that is going to come in and take over for your franchise quarterback, it seems like it's not a focus for a lot of people. Tampa Bay, listen, I love him. He's amazing. He's going to play for as long as he wants to. You got to draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
You got to be looking for somebody. This guy's old. He's, you know, everybody that's got an older quarterback, you've got to think, okay, this is probably,
You would think.
at some point we've got to move on. You would think, but they don't do it. But yeah, then we go. So nobody really that's probably out there on either side of Pittsburgh and Chargers. No. But it was a high-scoring game, 41-37. As far as Vegas goes, I got they barely didn't cover the 4.5. It was a 4-point victory for the Chargers. So I technically covered the spread there. But I picked Pittsburgh to win that game, and you won't fool me again, Pittsburgh. You're a bad team. You won't fool me again in the draft, and you won't fool me again in the pick'ems. My bookie called, and they said, fuck Pittsburgh. They told me that. My bookie told me that. So you suck. Take it from there.
That's crazy, Pittsburgh.
Yeah. Then the Giant last night. Ooh, baby, last night. The Giants at Tampa Bay. This is what we needed. The Giants also, I will say, they have not been playing like the worst in the league. No, they're not a bad team. They actually came out and they looked early on like they came. I think they tied it. It was 10-10 at one point. And
I think Joe Judge is a good coach.
Yeah. And they have good players on that Giants team. Like they have solid, Evan Ingram is not a bad tight end. And some of these guys that they have, Saquon played and he did all right. And they were using more of like a tandem of Booker and Saquon.
Just not giving him the ball as much.
Yeah. But Tampa Bay, man. This was no Antonio Brown. Still their defense is banged up. I mean,
Gronk played.
Gronk played and he looked good. Who wants to play this Tampa Bay team? Who wants to face this Tampa Bay team? You can say whatever you want about, they've had their losses. Those losses are good for Tom Brady. He needs losses. He needs things where he can go back and yell at his offense and where they can show the defense what they're doing wrong and things like that. That's always good for a Tom Brady team. He easily covered the 11-point spread there, stuck his dick in the Giants' butt, which was great because the Giants have really tortured him in the past.
That's true.
So it was nice for him to get that win. He had a pick that was his fault, but again, those whatever doesn't kill. We got some time here. Let's talk about this man in the arena.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the man in the arena because, oh my God, what a good episode! And what's crazy is, are we gonna go this slow with it? Because we only talked about his first year.
Right.
We only talked about his, the draft process and then the Drew Bledsoe thing and him getting hurt and going out. We had interviews with Drew Bledsoe. We had interviews with Willie McGinnis. I just love the fact that they're getting to be this honest and open about it. I mean, I've never heard Drew Bledsoe talk about it like that, where he talked about he talks about that he went out to Montana to go skiing after the whole thing was over. And there was one point where he was by himself on the ski lift and he just right after they won the Super Bowl and he's just crying. He's just crying by himself because, I mean, this is one of those scenarios. The backup comes in and he doesn't give the job away. He just won't give it away. And those old school guys, Brett Favre was terrified of this. This is what Brett Favre did not. He was a backup that got to come in and take over and then was like, okay, now I'm the guy. And Brett Favre and Drew Bledsoe and those old school quarterbacks, they knew there's a guy right behind me who is hungry as fuck, and I can't let him back in. But it was cool to see that, and like you said, Tom Brady's just a nice guy, man. He's a cool guy, and the relationship that you heard that Drew and him had was really cool to hear. That it was like, oh man. That easily could have turned sour. That easily could have been a bad relationship.
Bledsoe was a good mentor. It seemed like he even though Brady was probably annoying as fuck.
Yeah, probably. He said he was,
and he's like, pointing shit out. Why didn't but he still taught him.
Well, it was cool to see in that little documentary where you see they were showing footage of like Drew Bledsoe asking Tom Brady, so what plays do you like here?
Yeah.
What'd you see in that? You know, and that is a great mentor and hilarious to see. We do not see Brady in that situation. That's the only time we've seen it. That's the one time we've only seen Brady be like, I think this is good. I think this is good. And, hey, why'd you do this? Now it's all people coming up to him. Right. Now he's the one fucking asking these other backup quarterbacks these questions. And you know what's funny to me? When the timeout happens and like the Tom Brady will come to talk to Byron Leftwich or Bruce Arians and like is talking to the head coach and the offensive coordinator, and the backup quarterback saunters out there with his fucking hat on and his little earpiece in, and he's like trying to listen like hey, Blaine Gabbert, get the fuck over there, okay? We'll let you know if Tom isn't feeling well. You just go sit down and hope that this guy gets you another ring. Sit the fuck down. What the fuck? I guess it's so that they can know what's going on in the game. But I always think that it's not just Blaine Gabbert. It's all backup quarterbacks. Anytime there's like a timeout or anything, all backup quarterbacks come out and they're like, I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this. Like, no, you're not. You're a punter. You're just here. You're just a part of the team. You get a jersey, but you're not anything. But yeah, Tom Brady and Man in the Arena. Another one comes out today. Can't wait. Also, we talked about it was crazy to hear the fucks and all the fuckings that he said.
Lots of cursing.
And like, it's ESPN and they're owned by Disney, so I didn't expect. Or I thought, I know it's ESPN Plus.
I guess because it's on Plus.
It's on ESPN Plus, so you have to pay for it. But man, just even like his last line is like, "I'm still fucking doing it." It gave me chills. It was like, ooh.
No, I really enjoyed listening to him talk and hearing that perspective and all that, and even though we've heard it before, not in this context.
Well, and say what you said about about his mental,
right. So yeah, I mean, definitely the most mentally strong person that you can think. I mean, what the fuck?
In sports,
overcame physical. He's just not the most physically gifted person. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, he's a good.
He's got an arm. He's got an arm. He's got a great arm, but
he's a professional athlete.
Sure.
It's just,
you look at his body type and you look at him right now as a 44-year-old man. You're not thinking like, this dude's the best quarterback that's ever been.
He has literally willed himself to where he's at.
He's got Gisele Bundchen sitting over here saying, "Hey, come hang out with the family and come sit with us, please." And he's like, "Bitch, I have defense. There's a Cincinnati defense that I've never seen before. I have to go back and look at what I did wrong in those New Orleans games." And like I was telling you, I like to work hard. I like to get into things and be obsessive, and I think that I have a good work ethic, but this dude is he is insanely obsessed with winning and what it takes and what he's got to put into his body. And I mean, there are guys that over the years, I'm sure that they could, there's guys that have played for a long time in all kinds of sports. Vince Carter played forever. Cal Ripken Jr. and Derek Jeter played for a really long time in baseball. And I'm sure that they have a lot of those similar qualities, but not where you're the tip. Not where you are literally the tip of the spear, where you are the best of the best, and you're sitting there for 20 fucking years. Yeah. He has not relinquished the throne. There is no one that
he's no signs of regression. Like, that's what we've always.
The Max
everybody's waiting for him to fall off the
hilarious
cliff.
Max Kellerman falling off a cliff. I mean, he said it, and all of us kind of went. And there are people that bought into him. We're like, yeah, he will. He's going to drop off a cliff. And it's like, I don't think so, my guys. I think that this guy is just mentally never gonna. And it scares me to say it. I hope, knock on all the wood, that it's not the case. I hope it's not a horrific injury, because I think it might be the only thing that takes him out. Right. I think him having a Joe Theismann break his fucking leg and him be like, all right, well, there's just even now me running through my head.
Probably come back just to prove it.
He probably would. He'd probably be like, you know what?
Ain't going out like that.
I'm gonna rehab and I'm gonna win again. He's so driven.
On one leg.
His dad said you're gonna have to drag him off the field in a straitjacket because he's never gonna want to stop doing this. And how many did they say how many episodes this Man in the Arena is going to be?
No.
God, I hope it's 100. I hope it's just not. I hope it's every week for the rest of my life. They put a new episode out. They should just follow him around and just give me in-depth look into him at all times, because he's fucking the best. And he proved it last night. I didn't get to watch that. I recorded it. I'm going to watch it, but the Peyton Eli seemed like it was a good one. I know Kevin Hart was on there, so that was probably really fucking funny.
I was going to watch it and I got distracted.
Yeah, you got really distracted. Yeah, Bill Parcells, Kevin Hart, and I don't know who the fourth. I can't remember the fourth guest was, but then it was Condoleezza Rice, and it was like, what the fuck is she doing on here? I was at work and I kept looking up, going, what the fuck does this? And Peyton and Eli usually are laughing and trying to cut jokes and whatever, but they were both real. Their faces were like, yes ma'am, yeah, that's cool, yeah, no, what the fuck are we doing here?
What's she talking about?
Who the fuck knows? I don't know. She probably.
That's weird.
I saw a clip online that said she wants women as coaches.
There was a woman coach.
Let me just say, I'm not a sexist person, but I'm even at the point where I think fat motherfuckers like Andy Reid don't belong. And I think Mike Vrabel is the way to go. I think getting these dudes that used to be players that have that kind of knowledge, or even guys like a Harbaugh that used to be a quarterback, or a Byron Leftwich that used to be a quarterback. I'm on that side of saying that's who should be a coaches. No offense, ladies, but I don't think that you'll be able to give these guys enough ammunition or firepower or
unless, well, no, X's and O's and lining people up and creating new offensive and defensive schemes can be done. That's mental. I think what you're talking about is the leadership part of it.
Exactly. The leadership part of it, of getting these grown-ass, steroid-filled, fucking crazy men.
So that being said, then maybe a head coach would be a far stretch for a woman.
Maybe an offensive coordinator. Maybe I'm with you there. Maybe if they were drawing it up and saying, look, I'm good at
your pure
this.
X's and O's.
Sure, maybe. But again, you've got to be.
You'd have to be really fucking into football.
Really fucking good at it.
You probably weren't playing.
No. And listen, Michael Irvin was on one of my favorite podcasts, Flagrant 2, with Andrew Schultz, and he was talking about Jimmy Johnson, and he was saying one of the best things that Jimmy Johnson was he was a psychologist he understood what it took to get people fired up. He would go to Charles Haley, and when Charles Haley first got to the Cowboys, he's yelling and screaming at him and going crazy, and Charles took him in the office and said, look, man, I don't respond to that kind of shit. Like, I'm different. Like, I need love. I need you to tell me I did a good job. Come talk to me about what I need to work on, but don't attack me in front of people, because I'm going to shut down. And Jimmy Johnson, from that day on, never yelled at Charles Haley again. Michael Irvin was in the midst of his crazy going out and doing drugs and partying at hotels and fucking all this shit. And Jimmy Johnson would say, is this what you need? And Michael Irvin would tell him, yeah, the stresses of all this shit, I got to get away. I got to go get some bitches and go crazy for a little bit. And Jimmy would say, okay, all right, well, we'll work out the media stuff. Me and Jerry will work this shit out. And just the little things like that. I just don't know if a girl could come up to you and have that same, I don't know if that connection can be there.
I hear you, but I'm very cautious about saying it can't be done.
No, especially girls. No.
They're coming out of the ESPNW. I mean, it's a thing now.
Oh God, no. I mean, listen, women can do anything, and there are women out there that are way stronger, faster, and more athletic than me that could put me to shame. But I just don't know if women could be in a head coach position where they have to lead these. And it's maybe in other sports I could see it. In baseball and in basketball, I could see it because you could just be, in those you are much more of like in baseball you're just
analytics now.
Baseball, it is just analytics, and you are just basically going, I think this is the right thing to do at this moment.
But there is a standpoint of, if you've never done it on this level,
right?
It's hard. It's got to be super hard.
Well, Michael Irvin also talks about in this. I keep going to this Michael Irvin, but he's like, this is hand-to-hand combat,
right?
Like this is, you're fighting these other dudes, like you're, and so he's like, some of these collisions that you have, some people will never know what it's like to get fucking lit up by Ronnie Lott. Yeah. You don't know. You think you do. Right. You have no idea. And he's like, the only reason that I survived it is because I'm fucking huge. Right. He says that where he's like, most normal people that think like, oh, you see these hits on TV and you're like, oh, but the only reason that Gronk makes it look like that is because he's huge. He can bounce back up from that. Right. You would get killed by some of these shots that Gronk has taken. I
remember, what the fuck is his name? The returner, God, I can't remember his name. Hall.
Deontay Hall.
Yeah.
Okay, so up the X?
Yeah, so I met him at, he's from Humble.
Okay.
And so when I worked at Saltgrass out there years ago, he was sitting at the bar. And I for some reason, I started talking to him. And I asked him, like, what's it feel like? And he's like, it's like getting in a fucking car accident every week. And especially, he was tiny. Like, he's a little dude.
But they all have to feel that way.
Can you imagine the offense? Those motherfuckers,
they're huge.
Hit so hard.
They're huge. If you've ever seen a defensive lineman in person, if you've ever actually been next to like Calais Campbell or something like that.
When the offensive and defensive linemen collide, and one of them gets a concussion, they're hitting hard.
It's hilarious too that we're like, and the linemen talk about it all the time. They're like, no helmet to helmet contact, no helmet to helmet contact. The linemen, it's the first thing they do. Yeah. Your initial thing is, let's smash faces together and see who's got the stronger willpower. It's like, God damn. But I don't know how we got into this, but
where did we go?
Yeah. And we went through last week, going forward, and next week we've got Kansas City and Arizona on a bye. Those are two big teams with lots of players, so you're going to be looking for some streaming stuff. I have Arizona's defense, and you might too. I doubt you have Kansas City's defense, but Arizona's defense has probably been started. So you're going to need somebody else, especially if the Jets are going to roll out Flacco, or they've been turning the ball over a lot. So, and the Texans just got 4 interceptions on Tannehill. I've got Houston's defense at home versus the Jets. That might be a really good option to try to stream. I also say Chicago's defense at Detroit, if it's going to be this Boyle. Yeah. Whoever the fuck this guy is.
That's actually I think I'd prefer Chicago over Houston there. Yeah. I just don't know if I could put Houston.
No, I hear you. I
don't know if I could physically do it.
I liked what I saw as a Houston Texans fan. I didn't understand us winning the game, but I also liked what I saw. I was like, okay, all right, we're on the.
Well, it really shows you what can happen if you have a halfway competent quarterback.
We picked the sexiest Mingling or whatever it is that Deshaun's into. And her whole life she's been living in a rub and tug. She's amazing at it. She can give you a rub and tug like you've never seen before. She'll fucking diddle your butthole. She'll blow your balls at the same time. She is a G at it. We hire her full time at the Texans. We keep her downstairs in the basement or like a little room. And like, we just promise him that, like, listen, anytime you're feeling crazy, anytime, day or night, we've got her on call, okay? She just lives here. She's 24/7 for you, Deshaun.
Send her to you.
You come down here, or whatever. Maybe we find his girl, like his masseuse. Maybe we line up like 6 of them. We get into some human trafficking, and we get like 6 or 7 of them.
And they're all there. Can't have a different one every day, I mean, shit.
He could. He just needs to fucking chill out. I hope we hold him hostage, and I hope we just rebuild this team, and we bring him back.
Because they're honestly not that bad.
No, we're not. We're not that bad of a team. We need linebackers. We need defensive ends to replace what we've lost with JJ and
I'd like to see a good offensive line. Like that's always just my thing. We've never had a good line.
We've never had it, yeah. But the Texans are on their way. We are on our way out of here. We did a good. We went over last week. Go watch Man in the Arena and jerk off the way I'm going to. Yeah, this has been cute little Sativa. She didn't have a lot to say. She actually slept the entire time. And we'll see you tomorrow.